this G36 was looking lonely kind of at the top of my display rack. I hadn't messed with it for a while, and I decided I wanted to basically take the rail off of it to use for a custom blaster I was working. So I kind of wanted to scavenge that from it. And then I found this cool rail that I could put back on here that was more of a straight flat rail. And I thought, let me see what we can do to dress this up, make it cool, and then I can give it away. So it's kind of just trying to up my free prize, my giveaways that I do every month. So I thought, let me do something with this G36 that's really cool and unique, and then I'll include it in an upcoming prize package. So maybe in December is my guess. So this should be posted before then, and maybe this will be part of that prize pack. All right, so this was a G36 that originally was sold by a brand called Darkhant on Amazon, and at the time it was one of the best blasters on there because it was hitting like 220 FPS, and that was before there was really anything else besides a single M4A1. But they were short-lived, and they didn't have these for very long at all. So as you guys can tell by looking at the G36, it looks a lot like a splatterball. That's because the G36 is kind of what splatterball based their blasters on, their first ones at least, SRB 400. And so that's what you kind of see some similarities there, right? But I wanted to customize it a little bit. So let's talk about what I did. Obviously, I removed the tall rail, put this kind of flat rail on here, right? I added this adapter that allows you to have a buffer tube. So now it doesn't flip anymore because typically it flips. And this is the original stock, which I would include with it that, can flip open like this, right? So now it's stationary, and you can see how I did that. So again, this was a piece that I printed that was intended for an airsoft G36. Luckily, it was the right form factor, but it didn't exactly fit in perfectly. So what I did was obviously, drop the bolt down the top here, which you needed on the hinge. But then there was no way to really, the way this was designed to clip is for a different blaster and doesn't work at all with this one. So instead, I just put the bolt through there. So that bolt goes through there, holds it in place. So it's just static, but that allows you to use a buffer tube, and you can put whatever else, other type of stocks that work with a buffer tube on there. So I thought that was a cool option. And then up here, kind of just wanted to put a nice long grip on here. Okay, so this is just kind of a grip like this. And the reason I'm not going to, also the other reason I did this is this was one of the first blasters I modified, and I had to cut a little hole in the battery door because I was using an 11.1 with this. And at the time, the only 11.1s were those big ones. And so I had to have a separate battery box. So I wanted to cover that up, but still give you the ability to have kind of like a handhold here. So that was a good option to do that. It wouldn't have been able to put a rail on there because you can see that these little raised spots where the rail attaches, and there's not one back here. And also it would end up blocking the little lock that lets you unlock and lock the battery door. So instead do it like this, covers it up, looks cool, add some black up front there. So I like that. And of course the mag is here. Put a threaded tip on there with like kind of a nice big fat barrel on there. Got a couple different accessories, a laser flashlight, scope up top, and then a couple of the other things I wanted to include as well that I printed was here is just a little replacement that can go on here for no stock, right? If you want to go stockless style, this can just pop in there, it slides in kind of, put my little logo on there. And since this is threaded, you could unthread the buffer tube and you could go ahead and thread this stock on here, which is more of, like your AK-47 style stock. And this is just a buffer tube nut in case you need it to tighten it when you're putting this one on here. So in case it doesn't line up perfectly, you use that buffer tube nut to tighten up against here so that you can have that straight. So that is my G36 custom. Like I said, I plan on giving this away maybe in the end of the year, December, holiday bonanza giveaway. This will be part of the prize pack. So let me know what you guys think about it. Comments, questions, post them below. Of course, please like, subscribe, smash the subscribe button, share my channel with your friends, and participate in all those monthly giveaways. It's cool to give these back to all of you guys that support me. I've got a lot of them, and I like customizing them and giving them away to people who enjoy them. Thanks for the support.